Hi, I'm Michael Yardney, and Warren Buffett's arguably one of the most successful investors ever. While he's a share investor, many of his principles apply to property. So let's have a look at some of Warren Buffett's investment principles and see how we can apply them to our property investing. His first principle is adhere to a proven strategy. You see, Buffett's success often has been put down to his extraordinary patience and discipline, never deviating from a proven investment strategy, even when faced with short-term changes in the market. This is a great lesson for property investors as well, as most investors don't have a plan or adhere to a proven strategy. In fact, they spend more time planning where they're going to go on holiday than they do planning their financial future. If you don't have an investment strategy to keep you focused, how can you hope to develop financial independence? It's just too easy to get distracted by all those opportunities that seem to keep cropping up, in your inbox. Unfortunately, many of those supposed opportunities haven't worked out as expected. Look at all those investors who bought off the plan or in the next hotspot, only to see the value of their properties underperform rather than outperform. Warren Buffett's other strategy is invest countercyclically. He's renowned for being a countercyclical investor, advising we attempt to be fearful when others are greedy and to be greedy when others are fearful. That's a great quote, isn't it? But it's also the investment strategy of many successful property investors, and has proven to be a winning formula for many who've invested in property over the couple of years when our market was flat and when everybody predicted property values would fall further. So be skeptical of conventional wisdom, not because the crowd's always wrong, but because the crowd is usually late. Sometimes it's best to do nothing. Now that's another great quote from Warren Buffett. He said, the trick is when there's nothing to do, do nothing. Yet I've seen many investors get itchy feet and want to do more, put another deal together, or just buy another property because they love getting involved in properties. There are stages in the property cycle and times in your investment journey when it's just best to sit back and wait for the right opportunities. Because another good quote from Warren Buffett is, wealth is the transfer of money from the impatient to the patient. Warren Buffett also says you should specialise, not diversify. In fact, he's developed a focused investment philosophy, and he puts the bulk of his funds in a few companies. However, most investors suggest diversifying, don't they? This is really just playing the game of investment not to lose, rather than playing the game of investment to win, and it leads to average results. On the other hand, successful investors, they specialise. They become an expert in one area or one niche and reproduce the same thing over and over again. By doing that, they get better results. Another great quote of Warren Buffett's is to invest for value. He's a value investor. He says it's far better to buy a wonderful company at a fair price than a fair company at a wonderful price. And of course, it's the same in property. You make your money when you buy a property, not by buying a bargain. You lock in your property profits by buying the right property, one that's going to outperform the averages in the long term, maybe because of its scarcity or because of its potential to add value or something special, maybe its location. In today's strong property markets, don't look for a bargain. Remember, the price you pay for a property isn't the same as the value you get. Successful investors understand the difference. Buffett also says invest for the long term. In fact, he admits he can't predict which way the markets are going to move in the short term, and he's quite certain no one else can either. So instead, what he does is take a long-term view of the market, saying, if I don't feel comfortable owning a stock for 10 years, I shouldn't own it for 10 minutes. Similarly, those who've created substantial wealth through property, they take a long-term view as well. This doesn't mean buy and forget. You should regularly review your portfolio. You should see how it's going on, but you should take a long-term view. When was the last time you checked to make sure you're getting the best out of your rents, or that your mortgage was appropriate for the current times? So, long-term view, regular review though. Maybe it's time to refinance, so that's a good time now to consider while the banks are very friendly. And sometimes it's appropriate to consider selling an underperforming property when you're doing your review. Maybe it'll enable you to buy a better investment. Warren Buffett also says don't invest in anything you don't understand. During boom times, investors' hunger for the returns in the past took them to exotic terrain, places they didn't even realise they were going to. Property promoters often promised large profits through opaque schemes, and this is starting to happen again as the cycle moves on. Warren Buffett never invests in anything he doesn't understand, and nor should you. Warren also says manage your risks. Many investors don't fully understand the risk associated with property investment, and therefore I guess they don't know how to manage them correctly. One common error is not having a sufficiently large financial buffer to see you through from one property cycle to the next. Smart investors have financial buffers. They use lines of credit or offsets accounts, not only to cover their negative gearing, but to see them through the downtimes like we experienced a couple of years ago, and help them get from one cycle to the next. You see, they don't only buy properties, they buy themselves time. Another smart way investors minimise their risk is to buy properties in the correct ownership structures to legally minimise their tax and protect their assets. Now, a final lesson from the master that is bad times are going to come and go with surprising frequency over our investing lifetimes. But if you have a plan, stay focused on sound financial strategies. We can gain financial independence through prudent investing. I look forward to helping you become a strategic property investor by having a chat with the team at Metropole. If you want to take advantage of the property markets as they unravel at the moment, why not let the unbiased, award-winning team at Metropole help you either review your property portfolio or get you going with property. Contact us at metropole.com.au or on 1300 20 30 30.